The silver ship appeared over New York without warning like a ghost made of metal and light. The massive vessel hung in the sky for exactly 17 minutes before it struck. Commander Zara Keth watched through the viewing chamber as her scouts returned with their prize. The small human child sat quietly in the containment field, her brown eyes wide with confusion rather than fear. The girl could not be more than 6 years old, with golden hair that caught the artificial light. Captain Vera Nall approached the viewing chamber with measured steps. Her purple skin gleamed under the ship lights and her forearms moved with practiced grace. She had led raids on 17 different worlds, but humans were new territory. The child they had taken was named Lucy from the small town of Riverside. Her parents worked simple jobs and lived simple lives. They had no idea their daughter would spark the largest military response in galactic history. Back on Earth, the news spread faster than wildfire. President Hayes called an emergency session within hours. The military chiefs gathered in the war room, their faces grim. The Secretary of Defense placed satellite images on the table showing the alien ship as it disappeared into space. General Patricia Stone slammed her fist on the table. "We have been preparing for this day for 20 years, she said. Her voice carried the weight of someone who had spent decades planning for alien contact. Every simulation, every war game, every scenario pointed to one response. Within 6 hours, Earth activated Protocol 7. This was the plan nobody hoped they would ever need. 800,000 supercarriers began launching from hidden facilities around the globe. The ships had been built in secret, over 2 decades using technology reverse-engineered from crashed alien probes. Admiral Susan Clark commanded the flagship Vengeance as it rose from the Pacific Ocean launch site. The massive vessel stretched 3 miles from bow to stern and carried enough firepower to level a small moon. She had trained her whole life for this moment. The alien ship belonged to the Keth Empire, a matriarchal society that had ruled their section of the galaxy for 3,000 years. They took specimens from primitive worlds for their research facilities. The humans were supposed to be just another weak species to study. Commander Zara Keth did not expect the primitive world to respond so quickly. Her sensors detected the first human ships within 12 hours of the raid. The readings made no sense. No species should be able to build vessels of that size and power without centuries of space travel experience. Captain Vera Nall studied the tactical displays with growing concern. The humans were launching ships faster than her computers could count. The vessels showed energy signatures that matched their most advanced technology. How could a species that barely left their own planet build such weapons? The human fleet moved through space. Like a metal, Storm Admiral Clark divided the massive armada into attack groups. Each group contained 10,000 supercarriers supported by countless smaller vessels. The formation stretched across millions of miles of space. Lucy sat in her cell aboard the alien ship, unaware that her entire species was mobilizing for war. She played with a small toy her mother had packed in her backpack. The aliens had allowed her to keep the stuffed rabbit because they found human attachment behaviors interesting. The IC Keth scientists studied Lucy through their instruments. They took samples of her DNA and monitored her brain patterns. The research was meant to help them understand human psychology and biology for future raids. They had no idea they were poking. A sleeping giant, General Stone, coordinated the response from Earth. She activated every military alliance and called in every favor. The European Space Command contributed 200,000 ships. The Asian Defense Fleet added another 300,000. Even the smallest nations offered whatever vessels they could spare. The alien empire had never faced a response like this. Most species either submitted immediately or fought brief, hopeless battles before surrender. The humans appeared to be different. They were mobilizing their entire civilization for war over a single child, Admiral. Clark received the location of the alien ship from deep space tracking stations. The enemy vessel was heading toward a system called Keth Prime, where their main research facilities waited. She ordered the fleet to maximum speed. The hunt had begun. Commander Zara Keth realized too late that taking the human child was a mistake. Her empire had rules about which species to target. They avoided worlds with advanced technology or strong military capabilities. The humans had hidden their true strength until provoked. The first battle occurred at the edge of the Keth system. Human ships emerged from hyperspace like angry wasps. The alien defense fleet moved to intercept, but they were vastly outnumbered. The humans had brought overwhelming force to ensure victory. Captain Veronal watched in horror as human weapons tore through their shields. The primitive species had somehow developed plasma cannons that matched Keth military technology. Their targeting systems were impossibly accurate, and their tactics showed centuries of experience. Lucy looked up from her toy as alarms began sounding throughout the alien ship. The lights flickered and the floor vibrated under her feet. She could hear running footsteps in the corridors outside her cell. The stuffed rabbit seemed to smile at her as explosions echoed through the hull. The battle lasted only 3 hours. The Keith fleet was completely destroyed. Human Marines boarded the research vessel and fought their way through the corridors. They showed no mercy to anyone who stood between them, and the kidnapped child Admiral Clark led the rescue team personally. She found Lucy sitting calmly in her cell, still holding the toy rabbit. The girl looked up at the armored figure and smiled as if she had been expecting rescue all along. The return to Earth became a celebration that lasted for weeks. Lucy was reunited with her parents while the captured alien technology advanced human science by centuries. The message was clear to the galaxy: humanity would go to any length to protect their own. The Keth Empire signed a peace treaty within a month. They agreed to stay away from human space and never, again, target Earth for raids. The other galactic powers took note. A species that could mobilize 800,000 warships overnight was not to be underestimated. Lucy grew up to become the first human ambassador to alien worlds. She carried her stuffed rabbit to every diplomatic meeting as a reminder that sometimes the smallest things are worth the greatest fights.